And we are live, I believe. I hope, I think. If anybody's out there, hi. So, the pros and the cons of gig work is what I've been thinking about lately. Oh, I need to mute this. I always forget. I hear voices, and they're my own. Anyway, the pros and the cons of gig work. So, I have made a little list of both, and I just kind of want to see what you think about it. And maybe you have some to add to it. This, I don't know, it's just some things I was thinking about. What really made me think about this, and I talked about this before, was how you doing, Mr. Roy? Hope everything's out there going good. How you doing, Miss Lisa? Vegas, man, I would love to be in Vegas right now. Not necessarily the casinos, but just Red Rock Canyon. I never got a chance to get out there. I want to go back. Anyway, the pros and cons, and I bet Roy can add some to this. But and what really made me think about it, and I've talked about it before, was that sunset the other day. That really kind of made me stop and think about how much time we spend chasing the money. It's kind of like going to the casino. You win $500-600, you lose $300-400, then you start chasing that money back. And everybody that's been to the casino and has gone to the casino, and with you living there, Roy, I'm quite sure you've probably been there at some point in your life and learned you're never going to catch that money that you lost. You might get lucky and get some of it back, but most of the time you're not. How you doing, Pork Chop? Oh, I'm doing great tonight. Well, other than it being a lousy Spark day. Speaking of Spark, I know we're going to talk about the pros, what I think the pros and cons are. But uh, I was telling Emily earlier, in all reality, I think this is one of the worst weeks I have ever had doing this gig work. They keep on adding so many drivers and throwing out these ridiculous incentives that make the new drivers think new drivers probably get better incentives, but, you know. But either way, those extra $15 for 3 trips or 4 trips or whatever, that's ridiculous because they'll give you $7-8 orders, and those orders still ain't worth taking. But anyhow, it's not really the topic for the night, but it's not been a good week for Spark, not here in Wichita Falls. But anyway, the things that I was thinking about. Now I'm just going to go over these and basically just kind of read them off. The pros, and really, in all reality, this all has to do with flexibility, and that's the main thing. The flexibility on the days that you work and days that you take off, you get to decide that, and you get to pick your own hours for the most part. If you're doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and the food delivery, you can't really pick your hours on that because if you don't work from 11 to 1 or 5 to 7, then you're missing the prime time. You've been good up there, huh? The only reason why it's been bad here is because they have hired so many new drivers. And Emily was talking to one lady tonight that was fussing about having to wait 20 minutes. And Emily told her, she said, you can drop that order for long wait time. And the lady said, oh, no, I don't want it to affect my ratings. And that's the thing. The new drivers think it's going to affect your rating. It's not going to affect your rating. If you're checked in and you wait a few minutes, as a matter of fact, I was telling Emily this one earlier. One of our Walmarts is really bad about being not enough parking places, and you have to sometimes wait in line to get parked. Well, last week or the week before last, I pulled through, waited a minute, couldn't find nowhere to park, and I said, you know what, forget this. It wasn't that good of an order. It was like $22. I mean, it was decent, but not great. Yeah. But and the parking lot by the building, there are numbers. In the parking lot, there are letters. And I drove by parking spot A, which had somebody in it. And I went ahead and checked in the A parking spot and drove around the parking lot, or that row of parking spaces. And then I undersigned it for a long wait time because there wasn't no way. You're looking at an hour to hour and a half probably, and that's ridiculous. Anybody that waits over 20 minutes on average is they're losing money probably, and that's where having other apps would come in handy because you can go do DoorDash or Uber Eats or Bite Squad or whatever, Grubhub. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of getting off on a tangent again. I had dropped some orders and I got to a 4% drop rate, but it was because I didn't ever get checked in. And that's when it does affect you, is when you accept that order and you start the trip, but then you cancel it after you start the trip. That's what'll get you. How you doing, Mr. Rodney? But it doesn't take much. Now I'm back to 2%, and probably before the weekend I'll be back to 0. So it ain't a big deal. Anyway, flexibility on the days that you work, flexibility on the hours. You get to pick your own days off. You get to choose when you take a break and when you take a lunch or whatever. And this was my last one here. It says you are not stuck in one place. When I was reading these to Emily, she goes, "Yeah, unless you're waiting at Walmart," which is absolutely true. And not just Walmart, but if you're sitting in McDonald's or Taco Bell or wherever waiting on an order, you're not really you really are stuck in one place, but not for very long. But yeah, I can get that one. So yeah. Now the cons, and it's really weird because if you really think about it, there's probably more cons than there are pros on this gig work. But it depends on what you want to do. The cons, uncertainty of pay, and that's a big one. You never know what you may make in my market. I'm just going to use my market for an average or for an example. You might make $75. Well, today I made $43. I got one .com order and that was it. But I only worked like 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, something like that. But you might make, say, $75 one day, you might make $150 the next, you might make $50 the next, you might make $200 the next. There's no consistency. You do not know what you're going to make. Yeah, getting there. I'm hoping to get there by January 1. That's my hope. And another con, if you're sick, because I wasn't really feeling good yesterday, but I went out anyway. If you're feeling sick, if you don't work, you don't get paid. I know there's some W-2 jobs like that too, but the majority of the W-2 jobs that I've had, you had sick time, and the next one, vacation time. Because gig work, there is no vacation time. And if you take a vacation, you're not getting paid unless you're dashing or working, doing that kind of gig work while you're on vacation, which then it's not really a vacation. It's just a change of scenery. And you have to adapt quickly to changes in order to make dollars. And that what I'm getting at is if like weather related stuff, you may not want to get out and work, but a lot of times you can make better money when it is raining because nobody else wants to get out there. So that's kind of a con, is you have to adapt quickly. And there's W-2 jobs like that too. Depends on what kind of work you're doing. In the mental health field, there's definitely, you have to adapt quickly. And you got the wear and tear on your car, and your gas expenses. Then your maintenance and repairs, because you're going to go through brakes and tires. Oh, no questioning about that. And in most cases, you have to work more. In most cases, you have, and I'm going to put a test to this after the first of the year. I think what I'm thinking is, yeah, that was kind of a bad one. Well, I wouldn't say bad, but there's a lot of places that don't have vacation time and sick time anymore. But anyway, I kind of want to put a test to this. I want to work 40 hours like a W 2 job, like 8 to 5, or 9 to 6, or 10 to 7, whatever. But work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and see if I can make the same money as I do like right now. Right now, my weekly goal is $700 a week. And to a lot of y'all, that sounds like pennies. And to somebody, it might sound like good money. And to me, it's good money. At working for the state of Texas, we were salary, and I think it was 2162 or something like that a month. That was $2,162 a month. And if you're making $700 a week, that's $2,800 a month. Of course, you don't have the benefits. There again, that's the con of this gig work. But it seems like, and like I said, I'm going to have to put a test to it. It seems like you probably, on average, probably don't make as much as what you would on a good W-2 job. I'm not talking about working at Sonic or something like that. I'm talking about it, even pizza delivery drivers they make pretty good money. I mean, and that, because you would think that the food industry would probably be the lower end of jobs, but I don't know anymore, because I know some pizza delivery guys that they're banking, like 19, $20 an hour plus their tips and reimbursement for gas. So I don't know. But anyway, I kind of want to put a test to that and compare. That'll be a video sometime in January, whenever, because that is the advantage to the pro on this gig work, is you can kind of set your own hours, and I've gotten kind of used to that. And a lot of I do product reviews now. So even though I'm not driving, I'm still working, but it just doesn't pay like gig work does. But it's future revenue, streams of income, streams of revenue, whatever you want to call it. But anyhow, that was my main things on it. And Rodney says, before I retired my W-2, I used the Family Medical Leave Act and the last 3 years and got an extra month off at a time. That was good. The FMLA. That was really a good thing when they came out with that. It's got a little bit of drawbacks, but at least it protects your job. How you doing, Coach? Coach Roop? Is it Roop? I think I knew somebody named Roop with that last name. Anyway, they wasn't a coach, but I don't know. They might have turned out to be a coach. I have to cut what I make. I have to cut what I make a week. I just health insurance in New York offers a credit on what you make, so I have to cut down to $800 a week. I'm going to learn more about that because I signed up for it. And well, if anybody's watching this before midnight, wherever you are, you have till today to sign up. Till midnight to sign up for the health insurance through the what is it, healthcare.org. Stride's been sending stuff out. Uber's been sending stuff out like they're doing you an extra favor. I guess I guess they're bringing it to your attention if you wasn't aware of it, but you don't need them to get that. Anyway, I was getting burned out, so I took advantage. And that's what I said. I mean, it's it's there. You might as well use it. I knew a lot of people with the. I didn't even know that existed. Oh, the healthcare or FMLA. Anyway, but yeah, I signed up for it. I went. The really what brought this about, and what brought it about is when I went to the doctor the last time. She's been on me about getting a scan because I'm supposed to have a scan since I had throat cancer. And my cancer doctor won't see anybody unless they have insurance. And that's the reality of life, whether we like it or not. That's just the way it is. Anybody that says that's not so, I will argue with them. I worked for Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So, and Emily still works for them. And some doctors will see you and they even give you a discount because if you don't have insurance. But some doctors that are specialties, they won't see you without insurance. So that's kind of why I did it, but I needed it anyway because I need to get the health care. I mean, the scan, and I mean, I'm getting a little older. Not old, just older. But yeah, if y'all need insurance and you haven't signed up for it, get out there and get her done. You got till midnight. I think the 15th was the cutoff for the open enrollment. Grandpa, that's who I just signed up for. Oh, but yeah, that's it. The health care that we have here, and apparently there as well, is Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So they're good, you know. Um, no gripes about them. There's a good company to work for too. I just left because I thought I was going to greener pastures, and I really wasn't. Self-employed since '79. Gig work has been great for me since I sold out of my business. So, so have you been? Was you like a contractor? You said self-employed. I really don't know how long like DoorDash and all that. I know it's not been around since '79. If it was, it sure wasn't in Wichita Falls. It didn't even get popular here until I don't know 5-6 years ago, and it's kind of grown more and more. This part of Texas and probably southern Oklahoma and a lot of the south until you get to the big cities like Houston and Dallas and Austin, San Antonio. A lot of those places like that are keep up with modern things. But these smaller places like Wichita Falls and Lubbock and places like that, Lawton, Oklahoma, they're kind of it takes people a while to get accustomed to things like DoorDash and stuff. So I really don't know how long it's been going. Something just flashed. Did I freeze up? Did the internet go out? It looks like it's froze up. Oh no, I don't guess it is. Or it was. I don't know. Anyway, let me move that screen out of the way so I can see the dash. How you doing, Jerry? Older and wiser. Well, I'm definitely older, but I don't know about wiser. Maybe you're talking about yourself. You might be wiser. Yeah, one thing that I have realized the older I got, and I hate to say it, but the older I've got, the more I've realized, the less I know. Because those things that I thought I knew, I got a hint of them, an idea of it. But there's a lot of things that I don't know that I thought I did know. I just didn't think them all the way through. So maybe that's being wiser. Froze for a second. Good now. Okay. This internet out here, it's really fast, but sometimes it just like glitches and it just like freezes. I mean, we're connected at almost a gig. It's like 970 or 980 megabytes downstream. Upstream, if you know what I'm talking about, when you download something, it's fast. When you upload something, it's slow. So when I upload videos, it takes a little longer. And it's supposed to be fiber, but it's just, and as far as cell phone service, that's awful in this town. I don't know. But anyway, there's pros and cons to the gig economy or gig work. And like I was saying earlier, when I was watching that sunset, back when I was working a W-2 job, I got to go camping a lot. I got to go fishing a lot. And now it seems like I work more. But I'm like I said a while ago, I'm doing a lot more than just the delivery. And that's something else. If especially if you're younger, don't narrow yourself down to just gig work. Be working on something else. I know other people, even Pedro, he pushes that too, but it's true. You know, I'm looking at like 8 more years and then I can get Social Security. But don't limit yourself. Try to do other little things. May not make much money now, but it could make you a few dollars down the road. You're not going to get rich from most of this stuff, but might can pay the electric bill. Somebody snuck in. I asked her if she wanted to be on live. She said, I don't like seeing myself on the camera. I said, if you just watch a chat and just ignore the camera. Now she's just sitting over there smiling. No.
I'm talking to your mother.
Oh, she's talking to mom. I'm in trouble. She said she's talking to my mom. We were certainly remember the dumb things we've done when we were younger. Yeah, but it took those dumb things to make us realize they were dumb things, because at the time they weren't. Anyway, so do y'all have any thoughts on things that the pros and cons? Do y'all think the pros outweigh the cons, or the cons outweigh the pros? So what's your thoughts? Don't everybody talk at once. There's a lot of things that I did do when I was younger that it probably wasn't real smart, but so far I've lived through them, and I don't think anybody was killed in the process. I'm not going to say hurt, because people get hurt. Maybe not physically. Anyway, live and learn. The important thing is you learn something. And one of the things I've always said is that there's the only mistake that anybody can make is when they don't learn something from it. Then it's a mistake. And it might not have been the right thing to do, but it was something you did. And if you learned something from it, it wasn't a mistake, because you wouldn't have learned it had you not have done that. But if you didn't learn anything, then it is a mistake. Oh. How you doing? Been big hang now. How you doing? I just started doing Spark. I have a question. Is there a way to talk to a customer while doing shop and deliver orders? No. I don't even think you can contact them till after you complete the shopping order, right?
Right.
Yep.
And there's pros and cons to that too. Having done DoorDash and they can contact you while you're doing the shopping, it's not always a pro.
Yeah, because sometimes you may be having to contact them, even with Instacart, to find out if it's okay to substitute for something. Then you got to sit around and wait on them to answer. And that's why I don't like doing shopping orders on DoorDash. and I really don't like Instacart. Plus, Instacart, the only reason why I really like the Spark shopping orders is because it tells you what aisle it is and what section it is. If I was shopping at like a Target or another store that I didn't know and I didn't have aisle numbers to go by, it would take me a while.
Every time I have a shopping order, it's like supermarket sweep.
She's fast. She's gonna get a speeding ticket one of these days inside the store. I love the freedom of picking my own hours. Yeah, that is a big one, and that's even if gig work didn't pay as much as a W-2 job. Those few pros about doing it, in my opinion, make up for the cons. Because if you write them down, in all reality, the cons, you may have 10 cons and 5 or 6 pros. But those pros really have a lot of weight on them. And picking your own hours is one of the biggest, especially if you have other things going on, or if you're a single mom or a single dad and you need to go pick up the kids or whatever, you can stop and go do it. Like with a job, you might have to make arrangements to do that, but it's they far outweigh the cons, I think. They said they would eventually engage, but still not able to. I hope they don't. In all honesty, it would slow it down considerably, and I don't know. 20 years of service station, then a one-man towing business for 25 years. That's cool. That's one of the things I really kind of miss is the full service station. The last one I went to, though, they're a little shysty, and I won't say the name of the company in case somebody local watching them, and I don't want to make any derogatory statements, but they were checking under the hood of a female that had 2 children in her car, and I was parked on the other side of the island, the gas pumps, and the guy said, "Oh, you're going to need a new belt. You need it right now." And I kind of looked over it, and it was weather cracked, but it wasn't eventually she was going to need one, and she probably needed one, but he was making it sound like she wasn't going to make it down the block. They was just trying to make that extra money. And but the majority of the stations that we had back in the day, they were all good. Wash your windshield and check your fluids. But those days are gone. And that's a sad thing, but it is what it is. Is there a way to choose what you shop first? Or do you have to shop the item in order you have screen?
No, you can go and
Yeah.
go through the thing.
The reason yeah, you can go back up to the top, and like if you're back towards the back where the dairy is in Walmart, you can shop those things. But if they are out of a thing, you can't substitute it until you get back in the order that they want you to go in. Then you can substitute it. But some things you might have a pretty good idea what the substitute is going to be, and you can go ahead and get that. And I've done it. I just hadn't scanned it. And when I get back to that item, then I'll scan that and continue on.
I always just go in order.
Yeah, Emily says she goes in order. And most of the time, they lay it out pretty good. But I've had a few times where it had me jumping back and forth and back and forth. And I hate backtracking. But if you don't go in order, like I said, and you have to do a substitute, it won't let you put that substitute in until you get back into the shopping order and the sequence it's supposed to be in. Hope that made sense. So the reason they have you shop that way is because you have 1 hour from the time you scan your first item until you deliver or cancel your order. Used to had a timer on it.
Brandon can never beat the
Oh, yeah. Well, I can beat it now because I've gotten a lot faster. But before, man, I was always 10 minutes late. But
You want to help me do the shopping order?
I would, I would uh, spend too much time looking for certain items, and I've learned, and and do it the way you want to do it. So don't let me tell you how to do it. But if you're shopping for, say, fingernail polish, and they want a certain Maybelline, I think Maybelline does fingernail polish. Anyway, whoever does fingernail polish, they want a certain shade, and don't spend 10 minutes looking for it. I'm guilty of that. If you don't find it, and use the prices to eliminate, like if it's $1.97, look for your price tags that are $1.97, and then see if you can find that item.
That's a good tip.
It helps me. Um, but don't spend 10 minutes looking for one item, and that's what I was doing. I don't do that no more. I try to find it. I give it a couple of minutes, but don't spend too much time on it. Time's money. Oh, I wait to scan all my cold items until I get to the register because of the hour. I never, well, I mean, I guess if you had a big order, but most everything all my shopping orders generally put all the frozen stuff last. I mean, most Walmarts are set up where it's produce, frozen, then your groceries, then your dairy. Some of the Walmarts I've been in has the frozen in the back by the dairy, but sometimes they'll have you pick produce, and you would think the next aisles is frozen, but it might have you go to aisle 15 where the canned beans are or whatever.
You get the cold stuff last.
Yeah, it's getting the cold stuff last. And that's why it probably makes you kind of zigzag, because you're going from the produce to the canned foods to the bread, and then to further back to get something, then back up this way to get something, then back to dairy, because dairy's cold and that's wanting it to be at the end. But like I said, I just hate backtracking, but I do understand it. And if you had a big shopping order, yeah, you would definitely want to, because I think it will mess your order up if you get a frozen food and it's been in your cart too long. I've heard this. I've never had it happen, but I've heard it, that it will make you cancel the order.
I have gotten that warning.
Oh, you get a warning.
It was a glitch, I think, because I had just put the milk in the basket.
Oh, okay.
But it said,
I hope y'all can hear her.
It said, your order is in fear of being canceled. Cold stuff's been in basket too long, or something like that.
Huh.
On our little red box.
Well, see, I learned something there. I had heard that things like that happen. I just hadn't had it happen. I noticed that they got rid of the time. Now they give it to the driver by the, yeah. Something else, and because I haven't had it in a while, today I had to return an item. They put their address, but it was an apartment complex. No building number, no apartment number. I called them twice, sent them a text, didn't answer. And used to, you could go up to the top and click the little question mark or whatever it is. I can't remember now. Up on the top right. And then you could select unable to deliver or can't find the address or whatever. Now you have to chat with the support. But he told me that all you got to do is go ahead and scan the item and mark that you're at the delivery location, scan the item, and then flip up the screen, and then you can do the unable to deliver it. But used to, it was so much easier, but I guess they changed that. Like I said, I hadn't had to do a return in quite a while, probably 6, 8 months or longer. I don't even remember the last one. Anyway.
First return I ever did was because when I got there, the house was on fire.
Oh, yeah. She went to deliver one a while back. This summer, about what 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and she couldn't deliver it because the house was physically on fire. So, needless to say, the customers was not available to accept their order. They could have cooked all their food real quick. Anyway, does the customer know you are shopping it versus the store? What did I miss, Lisa? Grandpa, that's what I said. If you look after the comment, I fixed my. Okay, okay, gotcha. I had an order canceled and I was one block from the customer. That's how I found out I have a sparkle speed dial. Yeah, well, the option to call them is no longer. Well, today it wasn't on there.
Yeah, it's at the very bottom.
It wasn't. All I saw was chat now.
Because I showed it to that lady that was having a fit out there in the parking lot.
Today, all it said is chat now and something else down towards the bottom, but it wasn't the call. But I don't know. I don't know. It changes every day, it seems like. I saw a question. Does customer know you're shopping it versus the store? Honestly, I don't know.
What is it?
Does the customer know you are shopping it or
No.
versus stores? Yeah, I wouldn't think that they would know. You're talking about an order getting canceled. When I first started, there was some scamming going on, and I haven't had it. I had it happen twice or three times, but I think Spark got wise on it. What they would do is, as soon as they'd be watching out their window, and as soon as you set it down and started to take the picture, they would get on the app and cancel their order, and it would take it a minute to process, and you done delivered it and starting to drive off before it goes into the system, and they grab the stuff and then they take it in. But they cancel their order before you got a chance to mark it as completed. And I had that happen twice, and I had talked to support, and in both instances, they were wise to the situation. But that was something that was going on. People were trying to get free stuff. I haven't had that happen in a long time now, though. It used to be a pretty big issue, kind of like with DoorDash, them saying they didn't get it when good and well they did. But anyway, that was just so one of the things that they have done that's been good, nice change. Most changes they do are not in our best interest, especially hiring so many drivers. And I don't know about you up there, Lisa, but yesterday or the day before, they sent out another incentive for $100 to get somebody to sign up on Spark. And they do not have the servers, the computers to handle the influx of drivers and the influx of orders, and that's what's causing everything to get bogged down, and the stupid questions at the end.
But I'm really hoping that people are only doing it for Christmas money, and then after the holidays, they're going to quit.
If you're new to Spark and you're thinking this is ridiculous having to wait this long, a lot of the drivers, and maybe one of them, but a lot of them are just doing this for Christmas. There was a guy driving a Toyota
SR5. I saw him today.
But anyway, a gas hog, more so than my car. And there's no way you can make money doing Spark, not taking $6.50 and $7 orders and getting 8 to 10 miles to the gallon. you're not making enough money to make it worthwhile. So I think a lot of these drivers are going to be leaving the Spark career, and I'll be glad when they do.
Me too.
And it wouldn't be so bad if they wouldn't take those lowball orders. But and I'm not knocking anybody who drives for DoorDash because I had DoorDash. I still turn it on occasionally.
Top dasher this month.
Oh yeah, I got a message that says I was top dasher. I don't know how, but anyway, I don't really want to brag about that. But anyway, it is what it is. But if you're doing food delivery and you get a $8 order and it's going 3 miles, heck yeah, that's a good order. But what a lot of these people that are coming over to Spark from DoorDash think, man, that's a good order, but they don't realize how much time they're going to have to invest to get that $8. It's not like food where you can pick it up and have it delivered and be back to get something else 20 minutes later. It may take 20 minutes just to get loaded. So it's not the same thing, but they're so used, they see that and they see that big money. And it don't really turn out to be big money because of the time it takes. Married grandpa here. See all grandkids games in the afternoons. Yeah, that's one of the advantages to it. And just like the not last night, last night or night before, I got to go to my granddaughter's play.
Tuesday.
Tuesday night. I don't even know. This is Thursday. The night before last. Anyway, that's one of the advantages. And during football season, my grandson plays football. I didn't make a lot of his games, but I made a few of them. But you have that flexibility, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I won't sign up anybody either. I had a thought for everybody that's any kind of influence on other people is we ought to all start talking about how bad the gig work is. Maybe
it's horrible. You don't want to do
it's
it.
horrible. You don't want to do it. Get you a regular job. I know that's being a little selfish, and there's if everybody would do the orders that made sense and made them money instead of thinking that they have to take those orders because this is just like DoorDash and the rest of them. Your acceptance rate really doesn't matter unless you're in a market where you've got 50 drivers and 20 orders. Then it might make a difference. Otherwise,
I'm at 47.
Other, other than that, I had a 2% acceptance rating not long ago, and it went back up. It is 26% now. So it's come up. I get the same orders Emily does most of the time. Matter of fact, I had a couple of times where I was getting orders and she wasn't, and her acceptance ratings was a lot higher than mine. I've gotten some pretty big tips that way. I'll let them know that I shop their order once I get in the car. I used to send them a note, tell them I was on my way and everything, but Emily got 3 texts and 3 emails.
I got an email, a text, and a notification from the app that it was on the way. I got the same notifications that they were approaching, and then I got the same notifications that it was delivered. There's no way those people don't know you're coming.
Yeah.
No way.
So that's one of the reasons why That's one of the reasons why I quit sending those. I felt better letting them know that I was on my way. It made me feel like I was doing a customer service. But with that being said, on those .com orders, because in where we are, a lot of our deliveries are out in the country. And for the first half of my deliveries, it's not that big a deal. But when it starts getting dark 30 and you go walking up on somebody's front porch out in the country, I want to make dang sure they know that I'm on my way. So I do, in that case, I still send them a text telling them that I'm on my way. Other than that, I've quit doing it, and it actually saves you a little bit of time.
You could skywrite it that you's coming, and they won't put up them mean dogs.
Yeah, she's had two run-ins with dogs, but anyway, I always get out and whistle. Somebody had put on Reddit or something that's why UPS drivers honk their horn when they're pulling up. It's not to notify the customer; it's to see if any dogs come running out, which is not a bad idea. I got $5 cash tip on the .com order. You know, one thing about it, I've gotten more cash tips lately in the last couple of weeks. I've had less orders and made less money, but I've gotten more cash tips lately. I don't know if people's in the giving spirit or what. Better late than never. Okay. It stinks. I'm not real sure what I missed. Do you use Sketty app? I hope you're not on here spamming. I don't know if that's a legit app or what. Anyway, trade stocks while I'm driving. That's one of the advantages, and that's another big pro to doing gig work is you can, like I said, you can be working on something else. I can't remember the guy's name. Some of y'all probably watch Pedro, and I watched this guy, but he is doing an art, and he's got into an art show, but doing this kind of work gave him the time to be able to pursue his other things and stock trading, uh, product reviews. There's all kinds of different things that you can do to work on a future while you're doing this job. And that's what I recommend everybody do, especially if you're younger. That's the only time I message the customer unless they message me at first for whatever reason, or I'm having some sort of problem finding it. Yeah. Like the one I had earlier, the .com order, they got notified that I was coming how many ever times, and then I texted them, and then I called them twice, then I texted them again because they didn't put their apartment number. And I guess because the address was 1601 any street, and I could have, and the office had 1601 on it. I knew it wasn't going to the office, but technically, I guess I could have left that box of potato chips on the front porch of the office and took a picture, and it would have been at the front door at 1601. But I knew that wasn't right. But well, Emily said she would have done it, but
have to drive all the way back to Walmart, take back a box of chips.
Yeah, and they couldn't really say nothing because you did your job. And I really thought about it after I had already called and all that, but I thought, man, I should have just left it there. Some neighborhood kids would have enjoyed those chips. It was the little single, y'all know those Doritos, the varieties that comes in the box, all the little sack bags of them. Some kids would have enjoyed them. I had a lady flashing yesterday. I had a lady flash me yesterday in the car. Well, there was a bonus. Well, maybe that or a nightmare, one of the two. I had a couple of huskies charge me once, snuck up on me as I was dropping off the order. They were all bark, luckily. Tried to pet one, and it wasn't having it. Oh, Sketty App helps you with Lyft. I had signed up for Lyft, but I never heard anything from them. I do Uber occasionally, mainly on the weekends, and not every weekend, just occasionally when Spark's slow. Here on Saturday, Spark is generally, for me, this is just for me and Emily, Saturdays are pretty slow compared to Sundays and Fridays and stuff. I guess more people are out and about. But yeah, this man found a snake in his Uber left by a customer. Ooh, that would be a creepy one. Person said a man found a snake in the car from a customer. That
I'd have probably lost it. Do snakes.
well, I don't mind snakes if I can see them. But we have rattlesnakes here, and if when you start hearing that rattler and you don't know where they're at, that's when I don't like snakes. Or when they surprise me and go crawling across the top of my foot.
Or when you're down by the creek, you can smell them, but you don't know where they're at.
Yeah, we have water moccasins, cottonmouths, and when you get down by a creek and you can smell that smell, but you can't see them. But if you look real close, a lot of times they're hanging up in them trees. And some people may not like snakes.
They smell like sewer.
Yeah, they definitely stink. If you didn't live down in the swampy lands, you know exactly what it is, or in the south where we have cottonmouths. From doing Amazon Flex, I've learned to keep dog biscuits in my car. But I had thought about that. But what if you gave a dog biscuit or something and they had some kind of allergic reaction to it? Would that make you responsible? That's what I had thought about it. But I thought, I don't know. Spark is a
dog treats, mace, however you want to handle it.
I got a 45. That would cause an issue, I'm afraid. From wait. Spark is a pain. Only get one order an hour, and the wait at some stores is brutal. Yes. That's why a lot of times, and there's people that argue different, and the best thing that I can think, especially for somebody newer, is whatever order you take, that round robin, on the average, consider that's going to be your hourly rate. Because by the time you wait to get loaded, get it delivered, it's almost time for that next round to come out. And you're not going to get, on average, you're not going to get another order.
Not here.
Not here. In some markets, you might.
But we have to go farther sometimes.
Yeah, we have to go further, and it takes a little longer. But you may get a round robin, and you may get loaded up by the quarter till, and you may have it delivered on the hour. And you got 20 minutes, and you might pick up another ASAP order or something like that. And you might get that done within an hour, but that's probably going to make you miss the round robin of the next hour. And even if it doesn't, you might get 2 orders in an hour. But I would just say on average, just figure if you take a $9 order, you're going to make $9 an hour. If you take a $23 order, you're going to make $23 in that hour. And if you do get an extra order in, good for you, because there's people that do it. I know. But I don't think you're going to get much more than 3 or 4 unless you take some really low ball orders that are going real close where you can just jump on them. And that's another thing that I've been thinking about too, is a lot of people, including myself, had talked about things like that. And I've seen the question, can you make a living doing this? And you have to realize there are a lot of situations and circumstances that can determine that, because you take, like, if y'all watch Tony, your dad, he has the Tesla. Then you take somebody like me that gets 15 and a half miles a gallon. He can make so much more money in an hour doing deliveries than I can, because the driven dad. My mind wasn't going good. The driven dad. Um, but he don't have to put that much gas. Well, he don't have to put any gas in the Tesla. But you have, if somebody tells you that you can make a living doing this, there's a lot of factors that you better factor in. And one of them is how much gas it's going to take to do that job. Emily gets 26 miles to the gallon. I get 15 and a half on a good day. So
after we drove all the way to Colorado and back, my gas mileage is better. I think I got it broke in.
Oh, she had a new car. I guess a little road trip to Colorado made it a little more economical. But anyway, you got to think about different factors. There's more to it than just the orders and the amount of orders. You got to think about what kind of gas mileage you get and things like that. And how long, if you're in a condensed town where there's red lights every block, how long it's going to take you to do an order. There's a lot of different things. So I kind of conclusion, you can't tell anybody that they can or can't make it in their market. There's a lot of different factors to consider. I'm hoping that the dogs had an issue that owners wouldn't leave them outside, especially when they're expecting. They shouldn't leave them outside anyway. What I had when I was doing DoorDash, it wasn't a trailer house, but the house was higher up. And when they opened the front door, they had a big old dog, and the dog wasn't going to hurt me, but he wanted to play, and he just jumped up and he put his paws up here on my shoulders. But when the paw came down, it scratched down the side of my neck, and that hurt. I just kind of laughed it off. But man, that stung, especially later. So even those friendly dogs, that they jump on you and they can scratch you. I had a cat think I was a tree a couple of weeks ago. Just come up and climbed up my leg, got up to my shirt when I had on a knit shirt. And, cat claws are sharp, man. They just sunk right through that shirt. And it's like, oh. But, what are you going to do? But people with dogs, especially, should be a little more responsible, because, like we all know, they know we're coming. So, anyway, I think Steve over on Rideshare Rodeo should be having a live coming on here pretty quick. Let's see. Never knew snakes had a smell. Water moccasins. Cottonmouth. Yeah, they've got a mildew smell.
It smells like
sewer or swampy mildew. And they call them cottonmouths because when they open their mouth, it will actually look like a ball of cotton inside their throats. They're highly poisonous too, but they carry a lot of bacteria too. That's what else makes the bite really bad. And when just most of you probably know, anybody that's going to go swimming in a stock tank or in a little lake or something probably already knows this, but in case you don't, when water snakes mate, might be regular snakes too, but I know water snakes like water moccasins, they ball up. They get in a big ball. And if you jump in the middle of that, you're not going to live. They will kill you. Kill you dead. So don't go just jumping off into the water when you know there's snakes around. have somebody, one of your friends, or go out into the water, because most time snakes will disperse. They don't want to be around you. But if you jump right in the middle of them, they're gonna do they're gonna defend themselves. So walk out in the water, splash water around a little bit, and then all you and your friends and all that can go jumping in the water. But yeah, you don't want to jump in the middle of a stock tank or pond. Depends on where you're from. Of course, I hear a lot of people down south calling them ponds now. Most everything around here is stock tanks because they're water holes for your cattle and horses and whatnot. Anyway, just a little side note on the snakes. So glad you're not racist, PA. Oh, well, you're an inspiration. Oh, I'm not racist at all. Only do groceries, Lisa. Plenty of bait in those bags. I'm hoping that if these dogs had issues. Oh, okay. I read that. Did I? Oh, I'm behind, aren't I? An acceptance rate of 11%. RTR. RTR. When I hear RTR, I think of the what is it called? The rubber tire rendezvous. It's They have it out in Arizona in the desert on the BLM land. A bunch of camp RVers and campers and stuff. The RTR. It's a pretty wild place from my understanding. But anyway, if you know what I'm talking about and you've been there, then you know what I'm saying. I haven't met a dog yet. I've been lucky, other than the one dog that jumped up on me and it just wanted to play. It wasn't trying to attack me, it just wanting attention. But man, it hurt. They don't pay you much attention after mitters, so yeah. I did have a dog the other day. They had a fenced front yard, and when I went to put the groceries, I noticed the dog bowl. So I was whistling and everything. 'Cause I always whistle no matter where I'm at, like out in the country mainly. But when I see dog bowls or something, but no dog came. But then on the gate, it said, beware of dog. So I'm putting the groceries up on the porch, and my last load up to the porch, and people, I was going back out to get the last load. And people opened the door and started bringing the stuff in. And when I started to go back up there to put the last load up there, they had if you know what a blue heeler is, they had a blue heeler, and it just looked at me, and then they didn't shut their storm door good, and it pushed the door and came out. It was friendly, but it did run out to the fence and just look at my car like it was fixing to get somebody. But it didn't. I guess he figured I was in the yard, so I was safe. I don't know. Anyway, can a cottonmouth kill you? Definitely, yes. Would you rather confront an anaconda, a lion, or a bear? Anaconda wouldn't bother me. A lion or a bear? Oh, the snake, I think, would be my least feared thing. A bear, I don't know, you might can walk away, but if the lion is hungry, you're out of luck. You're supper. How many more years will you drive? If you're talking to me, I'm going to drive as long as I can drive. But if we're talking about like the apps, I don't know. That's one thing. That's another advantage of this job, is you could be 80 years old and still doing it. I don't know if you're going to be carrying up cases of water 2 or 3 flights of stairs, but you can always send them down to the bottom of the stairs, I guess, and leave them. A guy killed a female Uber driver for no reason last week. That was in Louisiana, wasn't it? I read that. Uh, After dashing grandpa's live stream, head for rideshare radio. But don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate that. Yeah, Steve should be getting wound up over that. Last week, I thought it was going to be straight up 8 o'clock my time, but I went over there and wasn't nobody. I wasn't doing the live yet. I don't know if it was a delay or something wasn't refreshing on my end or whatever. But anyway, I've had my hour of rattling, but just think about the pros and the cons and decide if you want to continue doing this. Some of y'all already know we're going to continue doing it, just like me. But just make sure the orders that you take are worth taking. Do you think females should be doing this? Why not? Female can do anything a male can. Hybrid Toyota Benza, 44 miles a gallon. That would be nice.
They're little though, huh?
A hybrid Toyota Benza? I don't know. Steve doesn't have a watch. Oh, I did a review. I've got a digital clock up here, and I've got another digital clock I got to do a review on. I'm probably going to put that in our photo studio. We have a photo studio back here. Anyway, let me get out of here. Give y'all a break from my beautiful face. Right. Anyway, and my throat's getting sore, and I need to get a drink, and I got Christmas presents to wrap. Hope y'all are planning a good Christmas. I've been doing rideshare for 5 years. Got me beat. I wished I would have probably started doing rideshare longer ago because, from my understanding, they used to make really good money. Most of the rideshare here, I did get a $20 tip though the other night, added to through Uber. Here I go again, rattling again. See, I need to get off here. Y'all keep smiling, dashing, dancing, prancing, and doing whatever it is you want to do. Just keep doing something. And don't forget, jump over to Rideshare Rodeo's channel. Lisa put a link to it up there in the chat. So y'all jump over there and checking out. Telling I sent you. That'll get him. Anyway, y'all have a good night. Appreciate y'all coming by. Be safe out there. It's a jungle. And if you don't make it back before Christmas, Merry Christmas. You have a good one. Bye. Lisa said night, Emily.
Good night.